What if an entire civilization carved giants out of stone, moved them across an island without metal, and then watched its own world collapse? Far out in the Pacific Ocean, more than 3.700 kilometers from the coast of South America, rises a small volcanic island, isolated, windswept, and surrounded by endless blue. This is Easter Island. And here, centuries ago, human imagination became stone. Between the 13th and 16th centuries, the Rapa Nui people created nearly 900 Moai statues. They carved them from compressed volcanic ash in the quarry of Rano Raraku. No iron tools, no machines, no animals to pull the weight. Some of these figures stood over 10 meters tall. The heaviest weighed more than 80 tons. Yet they were not abandoned in the quarry. They were transported across an island of hills, rock, and distance. For generations, the question echoed across the world. How? The answer is as elegant as it is unbelievable. The statues did not lie down and slide. They walked. By tilting them from side to side with ropes, small teams guided these towering ancestors forward, step by step, sometimes for as far as 18 kilometers. Imagine the rhythm of it. Voices calling in unison, ropes tightening under human strength. A stone face moving slowly across the land, as if alive. This was not just engineering. This was ceremony. Each Moai represented a deified ancestor. They were placed on sacred platforms called ahu, always facing inland, not toward the sea, but toward the villages. They were not looking outward. They were watching over their people. During sacred rituals, eyes of white coral and dark volcanic stone were inserted into their faces. And in that moment, the statue was no longer stone. It became a living presence, a bridge between the world of the living and the world of the ancestors. At its height, this tiny island supported a population of around 15,000 people. They built stone roads that crossed the landscape. They developed agricultural systems that protected crops from wind and preserved moisture in the soil. They created villages, social hierarchies, and spiritual traditions. They carved wood, made tools from obsidian, and adorned themselves with body paint and ornaments. This was not a primitive society lost in the ocean. This was a complex and thriving civilization. But greatness came at a cost. The same ambition that raised the Moai began to consume the island's forests. Trees were cut to transport statues. Land was cleared for agriculture. Canoes were built for fishing and travel. And slowly, tree by tree, the forests disappeared. Without trees, there were no large canoes. Without canoes, deep-sea fishing stopped. No longer protected by roots, began to erode. Crop yields fell. Food became scarce. The balance between people and nature was broken. By the 17th century, the island had changed. Rival clans fought for power. Many Moai were deliberately toppled. The ancestors who once protected the people were thrown face down onto the earth. Not by invaders, but by their own descendants. When the Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen arrived in 1722, he encountered a society already in decline. The great ceremonial age of the Moai had ended, but the story did not. Because the people did not vanish. They adapted. They Today, the descendants of the Rapa Nui still live on this island. They are raising fallen Moai back to their feet. They are reviving their language. They are restoring their ceremonies and dances. Their culture, once pushed to the edge of extinction, is breathing again, and the statues still stand. Not as unsolved mysteries, but as proof of human vision, faith, and resilience. Now the island is protected as part of Rapa Nui National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But beyond the titles and the tourism, there is something deeply personal here. Every statue was carved by hands. Hands that held children. Hands that planted crops. Hands that reached toward the sky and believed their ancestors were still present. The Moai are not just monuments. They are memory. They are identity. They are a message carved in stone across time. A message that asks us a question that feels more urgent with every passing century. What happens when human ambition grows faster than the world that sustains it? Stand on this island at sunset. Watch the shadows of the Moai stretch across the ground. Listen to the wind coming from the ocean, and you begin to understand. This is not a story about the past. It is a mirror. Because the Rapa Nui achieved the impossible. They created giants without metal. They moved mountains with belief. They built a civilization in the most isolated place on Earth. And they learned, at great cost, that survival is not only about power, but about balance. So the next time you see the silent faces of the Moai, ask yourself, what will our civilization leave behind? Monuments of stone? Or lessons written in the way we live? Thank you for traveling through time with us. Subscribe, and join the next journey into the world's greatest civilizations. Because the next story is already waiting.